Picture this, a country where you can rent fake family members for your wedding, where a mysterious ancient rock split in half for no reason, and where there are more pets than children. Sound like a fever dream? Think again. Japan, the nation everyone thinks they know through anime and sushi, is hiding secrets so bizarre, so unexpected, and so utterly mind-bending that by the end of this video, you'll question everything you thought you understood about the land of the rising sun. Ready to have your mind blown? Let's dive in. Secret 1. The rising sun that rises second. Here's a truth bomb that'll shatter everything you believed. Japan isn't actually the first place on Earth to see the sunrise. Shocking, right? Despite being called the land of the rising sun, that prestigious honor belongs to the tiny islands of Kiribati in the Pacific Ocean, according to international time zones. So why the name? Ancient Japanese recognized their position at Asia's easternmost edge, where dawn arrives earlier than their neighbors. In the 7th century, the Japanese emperor sent a letter to the Tang dynasty court, officially calling their homeland Nihon or Nippon, literally meaning origin of the sun. This name gradually spread worldwide, becoming what we know today as Japan. This archipelagic nation comprises over 6,800 islands spanning approximately 380,000 square kilometers, roughly equivalent to California's size. 4 massive islands, Honshu, Hokkaido, Kyushu, and Shikoku, account for 97% of the total land area. But here's where things get dangerous. Sitting squarely on the Pacific Ring of Fire, Japan faces more natural disasters than virtually any country on Earth. Statistics reveal an astonishing 1,500 earthquakes annually of varying magnitudes. The 2011 Tohoku earthquake ranks as the 4th largest earthquake in human history and Japan's most devastating natural disaster. Exceeding magnitude 9 on the Richter scale, it triggered a 40-meter tsunami and caused the catastrophic Fukushima Daiichi nuclear incident, reaching level 7 on the international scale. Coastal communities were obliterated. Over 20,000 lives were lost, and economic damages hit $360 billion, making Tohoku the costliest natural disaster in recorded history. Despite its modest land area, Japan currently ranks as the world's 11th most populous country with around 125 million people. The Tokyo metropolitan area alone houses over 41 million residents, making it Earth's most populous capital city. However, a demographic crisis looms. Nearly 30% of the population has surpassed age 65, while birth rates plummet. The Japan Pet Food Association revealed a startling statistic. Pets now outnumber children. Currently, approximately 20 million dogs and cats inhabit the nation, while children under 15 have dropped to merely 17 million. Surprised the land of the rising sun doesn't actually see the first sunrise? Drop a 1 in the comments if you love Japan. Secret 2. The unwritten rules that'll get you judged. Western cultures express friendliness through cheek kisses, shoulder pats, or handshakes. Try that in Japan, you've just committed a major faux pas. The Japanese exercise extreme caution regarding physical contact, especially with first-time acquaintances. Instead, they bow deeply to convey respect and greeting. A bow isn't merely a greeting, it's a gesture communicating respect, gratitude, or apology, depending on depth and duration. Rather than automatically extending your hand, it's best to wait for their reaction. If they don't initiate, don't, force physical closeness. One taboo foreigners frequently violate is speaking loudly or answering phone calls on public transportation, like trains, buses, or even bullet trains. For the Japanese, Public space really demands absolute quiet so everyone can rest or concentrate. Any loud noise, whether from personal calls or laughter, is considered deeply impolite. Dining culture has equally strict rules. One serious mistake: sticking chopsticks upright into rice. This image is exclusively associated with funeral rituals for the deceased. The action carries a profoundly negative meaning and is honestly completely inappropriate during regular meals. Always lay chopsticks horizontally on a rest or beside the bowl when not using them. Additionally, pouring your own drink is considered a sign of poor social connection. Japanese people habitually pour alcohol or water for the person opposite them first, then receive in return. This isn't just etiquette, it's showing care and respect during shared meals. Pouring your own drink first makes Japanese people feel you're severing social ties. Finally, the Japanese are extraordinarily sensitive about tattoos. Regardless of size, tattoos often remind them of the Yakuza and underground criminal organizations, leading to negative impressions. This perception runs so deep that many establishments post signs stating "no tattoos allowed," meaning they refuse service to tattooed individuals. When visiting, keep tattoos covered whenever possible. Secret 3. The evolution of Japanese beauty standards. When you think of Japanese women, you probably envision fair skin, slender figures, modest clothing, and elegant, adorable gestures. That's precisely the common formula for women in the land of cherry blossoms. They possess simple fashion sense, favor traditional clothing, and the image of Japanese women in kimono remains captivating. So, just recently on X, which was formerly known as Twitter, Saori Araki's image in office attire, sporting that puffed cheek expression, really went viral. The post went up on July 25th, 2025, and within just 1 week it attracted 76 million views. That brought her over 121,000 new Instagram followers. Honestly, this just goes to show that Japanese women's beauty and cuteness can easily outshine even the world's most seductive or provocative fashion styles. However, historical beauty standards actually tell a completely different story. In the past, Japanese women didn't bathe daily since they believed frequent bathing stripped away the natural oils that protect skin and hair. Especially during winter or in dry climates, skipping baths for 1 or even 2 days was considered totally normal. Additionally, while many cultures see body hair as unhygienic or unattractive, there was a period when armpit hair was seen as a natural and, well, even sensual trait in Japan. You're probably a bit relieved they've embraced Western beauty standards now. Beyond beauty influences, Japanese women have been affected by Western, especially American, culture of independence and, well, delayed marriage. In major cities, women over 30 being single, working full-time, enjoying travel, having pets and investing in finance has become, quite common. They don't view marriage as obligation, but rather as choice. And if they must choose someone, that person must be top tier to pass their filters. A notable trend. More Japanese women find foreign men attractive. The reason? Japanese women value romance in relationships, something Japanese men often lack. Many share that their Japanese husbands forget wedding anniversaries, and saying, "I love you" is harder for them than, well, submitting resignation letters. In contrast, men from the United States and Europe are considered attentive, willing to surprise, and especially good listeners. This difference has led to approximately 300,000 Japanese women marrying foreigners annually. This number continues rising, especially in urban centers like Tokyo and Osaka. Want tips on approaching or flirting with these lovely women? Drop a 3 in the comments and I'll reveal incredibly useful information. Secret 4. The imperial past they can't erase. Japan stands among the very few countries never fully colonized throughout history. For most of its existence, the country implemented national isolation policies, refraining from foreign contact. However, after being forced to open ports by American warships in 1853, Japan entered the Meiji Reform period and underwent rapid transformation. In less than 40 years, Japan became a military powerhouse, culminating in its 1905 victory over the Russian Empire. This marked the first time in modern history an Asian nation defeated a European power, creating global geopolitical shockwaves. By the pre-World War II period, Japan was the only Asian country directly competing with Western empires across all three areas: military, industry, and territory. During this time, the Japanese Empire reached its territorial zenith, stretching from the Korean Peninsula and Taiwan to the Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam, Myanmar, and over one-third of present-day China. However, imperial expansion left severe consequences for many occupied countries. In Vietnam, harsh military rule and forced food requisition policies contributed to the 1945 famine, which claimed approximately 2 million lives. In Korea, tens of thousands of women became victims of the Japanese military's so-called comfort women system, an issue that even today still causes tensions between the countries. The Japanese military also destroyed infrastructure and caused numerous casualties in China, particularly during the Nanjing massacre. Though that past left deep wounds, it's undeniable that modern Japan has taken steps to acknowledge and atone for damage caused to affected nations. Since 1992, the Japanese government has officially recognized responsibility related to the wartime comfort women system and issued apologies to victims. In 1995, Japan established the Asian Women's Fund to provide financial and emotional support to surviving victims. Each victim received approximately $15,000 in compensation and a personal apology letter from the Prime Minister. Under the 1965 Japan-South Korea Normalization Treaty, Tokyo committed $800 million in aid and credit to support economic reconstruction. With Vietnam, after normalizing relations in 1973 and especially after 1992, Japan became the largest bilateral official development assistance donor for many consecutive years. Although not every country is satisfied with the level of apology or compensation, Japan remains one of the few nations that proactively confronts its dark past instead of denying or avoiding it. Secret 5. From ashes to economic miracle, with an adult twist. During World War II, Japan, alongside Italy and Germany, was among the countries defeated by Allied forces. At that time, Japan's economy was nearly frozen, with almost half of its infrastructure destroyed and industrial output reduced to less than 1/10 of pre-war levels. Within just 3 years, from 1945 to 1948, domestic prices increased 70-fold, and Japan could no longer earn foreign currency because it had virtually nothing left to export. However, this difficult period didn't last long. Instead, the world witnessed one of modern history's most miraculous economic growth stories. From 1955 to 1980, Japan's economy grew at a staggering annual rate exceeding 9%. Within just 30 years after the war, Japan had become the world's second largest economy, behind only the United States. The emergence of corporations like Toyota, Sony, Mitsubishi, and Toshiba is the clearest evidence of this astonishing development. At certain points, Tokyo is even considered the new financial center of the world, surpassing New York in total asset value, accounting for nearly a quarter of global wealth. Today, Japan is the world's fourth largest economy after the United States, China, and Germany. Living standards in Japan rank among Asia's highest. But here's where things get interesting. Beyond key economic sectors like automobiles, electronics, and artificial intelligence, the land of the rising sun has a remarkably large industry: adult films. Estimates show Japan's adult video industry accounts for up to 20% of global revenue in that sector. Each year, the AV industry generates over $25 billion in revenue. To put that in perspective, the global music industry revenue in 2024 reached only $26.7 billion. However, one lesser-known fact is that the Japanese government's support for this industry isn't purely for economic reasons, but also aimed at encouraging childbirth and maintaining population levels. Yet, after decades of operation, Japan's birth rate hasn't increased. It's actually continued declining. Beyond its advanced economy, Japan is also a highly successful exporter of soft culture, primarily through anime. According to Wikipedia, anime now accounts for about 60% of all animated content produced worldwide and boasts the largest fan community in the world, with over 800 million people. Some of the most famous anime series include Naruto, Dragon Ball, One Piece, and Demon Slayer. And if you see someone running down the street with their upper body leaning forward at a 45-degree angle and both arms stretched straight behind them, that's a sure sign of someone influenced by Japanese culture. The Japanese are well known for being polite, friendly, and gentle. However, this friendliness is often only shown in particular situations, mainly when they're interacting with guests or foreigners in public. In their everyday lives, Japanese people tend to have a completely different attitude. Japanese society has a concept called tatame, which refers to formal behaviors and expressions like polite smiles or bows that tourists often mistake for genuine friendliness. If you haven't lived in Japan for a good while, spotting these subtle differences is incredibly tricky. Japanese people tend to come and go quietly, rarely chatting with their neighbors or even close family members. They're used to showing their feelings in a reserved way and hardly ever say affectionate words. Japan isn't just famous for its amazing economic and technological progress, but also for having one of the world's best education systems. According to the 2023 PISA rankings, Japanese students came third globally in all three areas: maths, science, and reading comprehension. In the same year, the world's top 20 rankings placed Japan among the top 3 education systems worldwide and recognized Japanese students as having the highest academic performance among developed countries. What makes Japan's education system so impressive isn't just their academic achievements, but also its deeply humanistic approach to education. In Japan, children aged 6 to 10 aren't put under pressure with exams or grades. Instead, they're taught how to behave politely, live harmoniously with others, and show mutual respect. 4 years of moral education form a crucial foundation for children's character development. This is one reason why many international experts consider Japan to have one of the world's most comprehensive education models today. However, alongside its admirable strengths, Japan also faces some controversial aspects, particularly in its automated consumer culture. The country currently has over 4 million vending machines. That's roughly 1 machine for every 30 people. These machines cater to a huge range of needs, from drinks and food to cosmetics and other convenient products. Yet in some less populated areas, visitors might come across machines selling sensitive items, discreetly packaged and sold completely automatically without any age verification. Some machines even offer photo books, women's underwear, or other rather contentious items. The presence of such products in public spaces has genuinely shocked many Western tourists due to cultural differences. In Japan, there are services that might sound like something out of a science fiction film, but they actually exist quite seriously in real life. One of them is the family member rental service. In big cities like Tokyo and Osaka, Companies specialize in providing actors to play the roles of lovers, spouses, parents, or even family members for special occasions such as weddings or parent-teacher meetings. Clients can choose from profile lists that include detailed information about age, appearance, demeanor, and personality. The fee for a simple meeting might only be a few $100s, but if it's for a large event like a fake wedding, the cost can reach tens of thousands. It might sound odd at first, but in reality, this is a well-organized industry with contracts and a steady client base. Also, in Japan, there are places where you can pay to smash things. This is the idea of a stress relief room where customers are given hammers, baseball bats, or even fake swords to smash items like televisions, printers, or household appliances. The space is designed to be private with full protective gear, and even the whole process can be recorded for customers to keep as souvenirs. For just a few dozen to over $100, you can legally and safely let out all your stress. What's interesting is that this service is popular not only with young people, but also with office workers, homemakers, and even the elderly as a healthy way to release emotional tension. Walking around Japan at night is, honestly, an unforgettable experience. The glow from countless signs, those narrow cobbled alleys, the chime of electric streetcars, and rows of shaded trees all come together to create a uniquely atmospheric setting. In Kyoto, strolling through the old Gion district as lanterns begin to glow and catching a glimpse of a geisha behind a curtain, well, that's a moment you won't find anywhere else. Over in Tokyo, streets like Harajuku, Ikebukuro, and Akihabara stay buzzing until late at night, especially on weekends. With the harmony of order, lighting, and distinctive architecture, night walks in Japan aren't just safe, but also, I think, the most effective way to truly soak up the soul of its cities. Fushimi Inari in the ancient capital Kyoto is without a doubt one of Japan's most mysterious and unique destinations. This shrine is famous for its thousands of bright red torii gates arranged in rows, forming winding paths like a maze through forested mountains. The scene is both vibrant and sacred, making anyone feel as if they're stepping into another world. The best time to visit is early morning, when the first sunlight shines through the gaps between the gates, creating an enchanting lightscape. Visitors often choose to hike to the top of Mount Inari, a journey of about 2 hours, to enjoy that sense of accomplishment and really immerse themselves in the quiet beauty of the sacred forest and mountain breeze. Not far from Kyoto, Lake Kawaguchi and Mount Fuji create a view that's simply mesmerizing. From the mirror-like lake surface, majestic Mount Fuji appears clearly with its snow-covered peak, visible all year round, forming a breathtaking symmetrical composition. An unforgettable highlight is during cherry blossom season, when both the lake and Mount Fuji blend into shades of pink and pure white. Visitors don't just come for the scenery, but also to cycle around the lake, relax by rowing boats across the calm waters, or try soaking in an onsen with a direct view of Mount Fuji, a rare experience everyone wants to try at least once. For those who love the sea and are looking for a tropical paradise right in Japan, Okinawa is, honestly, an unmissable choice. This island features long stretches of emerald beaches, vibrant coral reefs, and warm sunshine all year round. One of the most popular experiences is coral reef diving, where you can see tropical fish swimming among colorful coral formations like a vivid painting beneath the ocean. Finally, there is Jigokudani Valley, where you can witness snow monkeys soaking in hot springs during the freezing winter, the scene of snow-covered forests, steam rising from streams, and monkeys relaxing with half-closed eyes like humans, brings laughter and delight to everyone. This is one of Japan's most peculiar and captivating destinations, especially popular from January to March, when snowfall is thick and the scenery resembles a lively animated film. Located near the Nasu hot spring area in Tochigi Prefecture, the Seisho Seki Rock sits in the middle of open land, covered with sulfur, where heat keeps rising from the ground all year round. Visitors often walk along a cobbled path leading up a hill where a sign warns people not to touch the rock, not because of superstition, but because it lies in an area with mild toxic gases. As you get closer, you'll see a large dark-colored stone resting alone on greyish-white ground, looking like a relic frozen in time. Local legend says Seisho Seki seals the spirit of a nine-tailed fox that was defeated and turned into stone. For centuries, people believed that anyone who touched it would face misfortune. But what brought this rock to national attention was the unexplained event in 2022, when it suddenly split in two. No earthquakes were recorded, no major impact was reported, and the stone, made of very hard material, had kept its shape for hundreds of years. Experts later suggested that rainwater and thermal expansion might have caused the crack, but the timing and symmetry of the split left many surprised. The two halves separated cleanly and evenly without scattering debris. Locals also noticed that days before the incident, birds and animals in the area had suddenly vanished despite no change in the weather. To this day, no one truly understands why it split, but many Japanese believe it was a bad omen for the nation. Ryoanji is an ancient temple within the Daitokuji complex in Kyoto, famous for its Zen rock garden, designed in an incredibly minimalist style. Upon arrival, visitors pass through an old wooden gate and enter a tranquil space covered in white sand with a few carefully placed stones forming a refined composition. Unlike many other Japanese gardens, this one is compact and uses no decorative elements other than rocks and sand. What sparks curiosity is that when photographing the garden at different times of day, the shadow of one of the stones sometimes leans in a direction that doesn't match the actual position of the sun. Some photographers have tried taking pictures at noon when sunlight comes directly from above, yet the rock's shadow still falls at an angle, as if the sun were in another position. While casual phone cameras might not capture this clearly, cameras with long exposure settings reveal the effect more distinctly. Some landscape designers believe the surrounding walls might reflect light back, creating secondary shadows that confuse perception. However, the strange part is that photos taken at the same time from the same spot, and even with the same device, can still show the shadow at different angles depending on the day. The garden remains open daily, and no one has been able to offer a definitive explanation for its mystery. Starting off is sushi, one of Japan's greatest sources of pride. The refreshing aroma of vinegared rice combined with the sweet freshness of raw fish makes this dish not just delicious, but a form of culinary art. Sushi is made from sticky white rice mixed with rice vinegar, sugar, and salt, then paired with fresh seafood such as salmon, tuna, shrimp, or octopus. Especially when eaten with a touch of spicy wasabi and dipped in rich soy sauce, the flavors are elevated to a new level of refinement and harmony. In stark contrast is shirako, a dish that may terrify many Western diners. Shirako, meaning white child in Japanese, is actually the sperm sac of male fish, most commonly cod. What makes it unsettling is not only the ingredient itself, but also its soft milky white appearance and melting texture, which often reminds people of animal brain. Despite its creamy taste and reputation for being nutritious, shirako remains a major challenge for first-time eaters. Another icon of Japanese cuisine is ramen, a noodle dish beloved from street stalls to upscale restaurants. The rich aroma of broth made from simmered bones combined with chewy golden noodles creates an irresistibly flavorful bowl. Depending on the region, ramen can feature the creamy richness of tonkotsu, the light taste of shoyu, or the bold depth of miso. When paired with a soft boiled egg, tender chashu pork, and fresh green onions, every spoonful of ramen captures the soul of Japanese culinary spirit. Ending this flavor journey is takoyaki, the famous octopus balls found on countless Japanese streets. The fragrance of grilled wheat flour blends with the crispy texture of octopus inside, creating an irresistible appeal. Takoyaki is made from a batter of wheat flour and dashi stock, filled with octopus, pickled red ginger, and green onions, then grilled into round balls. When served, they're topped with mayonnaise, a signature savory sauce, and bonito flakes that gently move atop the hot surface, stimulating both the eyes and every sense. Secret 13. Festivals that showcase Japan's soul. First is the Hanami Festival, usually held from late March to early April depending on region, with the most notable celebrations taking place at Ueno Park in Tokyo, Maruyama Park in Kyoto, and along the Meguro River. This is a time when people gather under blooming cherry blossoms to enjoy picnics, food, and sake in the cheerful atmosphere of spring. The festival serves as a reminder to cherish the fleeting beauty of life and the changes brought by time. Moving into summer, one cannot miss the Gion Matsuri, held throughout July in the city of Kyoto. Its highlight is the grand procession of elaborately decorated floats parading through historic streets. There are also traditional performances and lively street food markets. This festival originated from rituals meant to ward off plagues and bring peace to the community. Another beloved summer event is the Sumida River Fireworks Festival, held at the end of July along the Sumida River in Tokyo. Thousands of fireworks light up the night sky, creating a magical scene that attracts millions of visitors. Beyond being a dazzling display, the festival reflects the Japanese spirit of unity and pride in visual culture. In autumn, the Kishiwada Danjiri Festival brings completely different energy to the city of Kishiwada in Osaka Prefecture. Held in September, the festival features massive floats pulled at high speed through narrow streets, requiring precise coordination among pulling teams. It showcases courage, teamwork, and local pride within the community. Finally, the Sapporo Snow Festival is held in early February in the city of Sapporo on Hokkaido Island. This is one of Japan's most famous winter festivals, known for its hundreds of creative ice and snow sculptures displayed throughout Odori Park. Visitors can also enjoy skiing, sample local winter delicacies, and admire the brilliantly lit snowy landscape. The festival not only celebrates the beauty of snow, but also promotes Hokkaido's artistic culture and tourism. Secret 14. What it really costs to live here. If you're planning a long-term trip or considering living and working in Japan, understanding the cost of living is essential. In central Tokyo, one of Asia's most expensive cities, renting a one-bedroom apartment typically ranges from $800 to $200 per month. However, if you're willing to live a bit farther out in suburban neighborhoods or smaller cities like Kyoto, Nagoya, or Fukuoka, rental costs can drop to around $400 to $600. This is a smart way to balance expenses and quality of life, especially for those working remotely or without daily commutes. Japan's public transportation system is considered one of the world's most efficient and convenient. A short train ride costs between $1 and $2.50, but if you commute frequently, purchasing a monthly pass can save significantly, usually ranging from $70 to $120 depending on the route. This is a smart choice for office workers or international students. Taxis in Japan are convenient but not cheap. A short ride within the city may cost between $6 and $12, and fares can increase during nighttime hours or on weekends. In smaller cities, bicycles are a very common mode of transportation, affordable, eco-friendly, and a great way to experience Japanese life at a slower pace. When it comes to food, if you cook at home, monthly grocery costs from local supermarkets or convenience stores usually range from $250 to $350. If you frequently eat out, a casual meal at a rice bowl shop or ramen stand costs about $400 to $7, while mid-range restaurants may charge between $10 and $20 per meal. Basic utility costs such as electricity, water, gas, and internet should also be factored in. On average, monthly utility bills range from $70 to $100, and high-speed internet typically costs between $30 and $45. If you're renting a private apartment, There may also be additional charges such as building management fees or garbage collection fees, usually ranging from $10 to $30 depending on area. Altogether, to maintain a stable life in Japan, a single person should budget around $1,000 to $1,500 per month. If you live frugally, expenses can drop to about $800. But if you want to fully enjoy life there, take part in cultural activities, or travel regularly, monthly costs could exceed $1,800. Secret 15. Survival Guide for Smart Travelers. When visiting tourist-heavy areas like Tokyo, Osaka, or Kyoto, travelers should be especially cautious of sophisticated scams. Some individuals may pose as friendly locals and invite you to restaurants or bars they recommend, only to later pressure you into paying exorbitant bills. Always check venue information beforehand and politely decline if approached by strangers with vague offers. Personal safety is something that should never be overlooked, especially when traveling alone at night. Although Japan is known for being a safe country, that doesn't mean it's entirely risk-free. Avoid deserted alleys, limit phone use while walking, and stay aware of your surroundings, particularly when in nightlife districts or areas with few people. Another issue to watch for is the use of credit cards at small independent establishments. Some places still require cash payments, and in rare cases, there may be fake card readers designed to steal your personal information. It's best to withdraw cash at ATMs inside trusted convenience stores like 7-Eleven or Family Mart and use contactless payment methods whenever possible. Regarding health, visitors should be mindful of sudden weather changes in Japan, especially during spring and autumn. The temperature difference between day and night can easily cause colds if you're not dressed appropriately. Always carry a light jacket and keep warm in the evening, even if daytime weather is sunny and pleasant. Finally, in case of a medical emergency, be aware that not all hospitals in Japan have English-speaking doctors. Save the contact information of international medical facilities near your accommodation and download translation apps in advance to help with communication if needed. Being prepared in advance can help you handle unexpected situations calmly and efficiently. And there you have it. 15 absolutely jaw-dropping secrets about Japan that reveal a nation far more complex, mysterious, and fascinating than anyone could imagine from watching anime or eating sushi. From family rental services and mysterious splitting rocks to shadow-defying gardens and a pet population that outnumbers children, Japan is a country that constantly surprises. Which secret shocked you the most? Was it the fact that Japan doesn't actually see the first sunrise? The cuddle cafes? Or maybe those snow monkeys chilling in hot springs? Drop your answer in the comments below. We genuinely want to know what blew your mind. If this journey through Japan's hidden world captivated you, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss our next adventure. We're uncovering the world's most incredible secrets, one mind-bending story at a time. Remember, the information presented here is for reference only, so please conduct your own research before making any decisions, especially if you're planning a trip to Japan. The land of the rising sun is waiting to surprise you in ways you never expected. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep discovering the extraordinary hidden beneath the ordinary. See you in the next video.